Miller High Life from the Orleans Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. The IBF Featherweight Championship at stake, and it is held by the Shark. Frankie Toledo of Paterson, New Jersey. The 31-year-old has 40 wins as a pro and 15 knockouts. He's coming off the longest layoff of his career, basking in the glow of winning the championship. Toledo has been a guy who has been on the outskirts of winning a world title for a couple of years. He's been in against the toughest of competition. He finally hit pay dirt in April of this year in Las Vegas, Nevada, taking on the reigning featherweight champion, Umbello Butile, here on Friday Night Fights. Toledo would use his quickness and his hand speed. He was able to dodge the power of the straight-ahead Butile, and when the judges' cards were tallied, Toledo would win a decision in 12 rounds. What was it like to hear new world champion?
It was a great feeling, you know, it's a feeling I've been waiting for my life for. But at the same time, we had a death in our family, and a close friend of ours had passed that same day, so I had mixed feelings. I was happy and I was sad the same day. I didn't know how I really felt until like a month later I realized what I had accomplished.
After a long road, Toledo finally has a title. Is his career now rejuvenated?
Yeah, it has. I train harder because I know what I have, and every featherweight in the world wants what I have. And I know in order for me to keep, I got to work even harder now.
His first title defense comes against a very tough customer, Manuel Medina. The 30-year-old has 59 wins as a professional. He's the former three-time featherweight champion of the world. He first won the title back in 1991 against Troy Dorsey. He would lose it, then win the WBC title, and regain the IBF championship in April of 1998 in California. Medina would square off against Hector Lizarraga. Medina would get cut in the 9th round, but he would battle on and win a unanimous decision victory in what was a bloodbath to win the featherweight championship for the 3rd time. After a win against Victor Polo, he went to England to take on Paul Ingle, and this was just a war. Medina would find the canvas not once, but twice in this fight, both times coming in the 2nd round. Medina was down in all 3 judges' scorecards, but then in the late rounds, Medina would look to strike fire. Round number 12. Ingle, on the verge of winning the championship, would get knocked down, but he'd get up and survive it, and Ingle would come up with the victory against Manuel Medina. After losing the title, Medina stepped back in the ring and beat Frankie Toledo. So how does Toledo feel about a rematch?
Actually, I wanted this fight. I wanted to prove to the world that when he beat me the last time, I wasn't ready mentally or physically ready for that fight. So I want to prove to the world that Frankie's here, and Frankie's here to stay.
I see the fight is going to be as double difficult as last time, but I hope in God and we're going to win this fight tonight.
I'm a world champ, you know. I've seen it all, and I'm sure he has also, but it's what I got in here. It's all hard, you know, and determination. I work too hard. I mean, I've done everything right for this fight. I haven't caught enough corners, and we're going to do it.
Those are the fighters in their words. Time for the strategy in Atlas's world.
IBF Featherweight champion Frankie Toledo will be in for a very tough fight tonight against Manuel Medina. Medina is very experienced. He's the bigger man and has already defeated Toledo 18 months ago. To be successful, I would tell Toledo to get your punches off first, then get out. Medina will try to do that to you, so you must turn the tables on him. Now he'll have to come to you, where he won't be able to use his height and reach advantage. Hit his body and do it early. He's a taller man who likes to move a little. You'll want to try and slow him down by taking his legs away. If you keep pounding him, it'll have an effect in the later rounds. Finally, do not get caught going out. Medina is an opportunist and will look to take advantage if you step back or lay in front. He'll pursue you with a volley of punches. Don't give him that chance. For the tough Mexican Manuel Medina to become world champion for a 4th time, I would tell him to use your long jab. You're taller, and that effective jab can control the range of the fight. You'll keep the shorter Toledo off stride when he tries to box on the outside. Now he'll have to come forward to reach you. That's not the fight he wants to get into with you. Control the rhythm. Medina likes to dictate the tempo of the fight. Watch here as he moves, then stops, then punches. Then he'll move again and suddenly stop and fire at his opponent, making it a difficult style to deal with. This also keeps his opponent off balance, not being able to find his own rhythm. And finally, Manuel tie up Toledo. After you frustrate Frankie, tie him up on the inside. This way he can't work your body and try to slow you down. Lean on him. Let him feel your weight. It should be a good, close fight.
Manuel Medina, former three-time featherweight champion of the world, ranked #1 by the IBF, 126 pounds, 59 wins, 11 losses, 26 knockouts. His only loss in his last 5 to Paul Engel, as we illustrated earlier. He has a win against Frankie Toledo. First won the title back in 1991 against Troy Dorsey. Held the WBC title with a win against Alejandro Gonzalez in 1995. And won the IBF title for a second time against Hector Lizarraga in 1998. Knocked out by Prince Nassim Hamed and Derek Gainer in 1996 and 1997. Has fought John Molina, Tom Boom Boom Johnson a couple of times. Been in against everybody. In a professional career that began in 1985. He was 14 and a half years of age when he turned pro out of Mexico. 31-year-old Frankie the Shark Toledo from Patterson, New Jersey. 126 pounds, 45-1 with 15 knockouts. He has been knocked out twice, once by Marco Antonio Barrera in 1995. Won the title against Umbello Butile here on Friday Night Fights in his last fight. 7-month, 12-day layoff, the longest of his career. Wanted to enjoy his title a little bit. And he is rejuvenated and refocused. And he didn't miss a day of work. He works for Passaic Valley Water in New Jersey. Was back in work on Monday after winning the title on Friday, April the 6th. He's been given 3 months off from his job to prepare for this fight. Just a regular guy. The referee for our main event this evening is the accomplished Kenny Bayless. Bob Bird, Valerie Dorset, and Mike Pernick are the judges. Unified rules will be used for tonight's championship bout. No 3 knockdown rule, no standing 8 count. Only the referee can stop it. Fighter cannot be saved with the bell in any round. Accidental foul, they'll go to the scorecards after 4 rounds are complete. Toledo says he's hungry this time. He'll give angles, use speed. Both guys have said if they expect to see the same fighter that they saw the last time, they're in for a big surprise. So Frankie Toledo and Manuel Medina. Well, that is a tough first title defense.
Yes, it is.
And a guy like Medina is the mandatory.
No time to enjoy. No time to have a soft touch, as they like to say. Both these guys have been prone to cuts. We'll see if that plays a part of this fight, especially Medina.
Well, Toledo said that Medina has experience, not a big puncher, leads with his head a lot. Toledo said you got to get an early lead, because if cuts become a factor, accidental fouls later in this fight, and they go to the judges' scorecards, you have to make sure you have some rounds in the bank.
Toledo to southpaw, trying to make that an advantage. Take advantage of that position by moving to his right. And if you're going to take advantage of being a southpaw, it should start with the lead right jab. The orthodox fighter is not used to seeing that punch come from that angle. It is more difficult for the orthodox fighter to get control with his jab with a southpaw.
Teddy, with that said, though, based on the fact that this is the 71st bout of Medina's career, he has fought everybody, and I mean everybody, in the featherweight game. Is it a big factor? I mean, it's not like he hasn't seen a southpaw before.
No, you're right. Medina turned pro when he was 14 years old. He has seen about all you can see in that ring. But if you're Toledo, you still want to take advantage of that fact. You want every edge you can get, especially when you're fighting a guy who a year and a half ago beat you. Medina, very difficult style. Rangy, tall, uses distance pretty good. Gets in, gets out, tries to walk you into punches. If you lay back, he hits you with that long jab. And one other thing about Medina, very, very busy. High high workload of punches. We'll keep our guys, our punch stack guys, busy tonight.
Each guy getting in shots here in the first round. Toledo says he left no stone unturned in his preparation for this fight.
Toledo very definite about what he wants to do. Pick spots, be sharp, change distance, don't allow himself to be controlled with that jab.
First of 12 in the books. Kirk Johnson, heavyweight contender, taking in the action. Big fight night here in Las Vegas, big fight weekend. Very even first round, Teddy Atlas.
Very close round. Toledo trying to come up with the right plan. You have to have a very specific idea of what you want to do with a fighter like Medina, who's that busy, that awkward, that experienced, and has a win over you. Toledo's trying to use that jab, trying to change distance. When he's not working, he doesn't want Medina to be controlling things with that long left hand.
Spacious ring, 21 feet by 21 feet inside the ropes. Medina trying to press the action. Toledo using his hands as defense.
Watch Toledo with range, with distance. He's the shorter man. He has the shorter jab. Watch how he'll try to change range and then step into range when he wants to. He must be careful when he steps in, though. Medina likes to counter. Toledo knows if he stands out at the same range, that jab will bother him.
Medina was off balance, got tagged with a right hand to the head. Toledo is taking some body, giving some body shots when given the opportunity, Teddy.
He should take those legs away from Medina. Even though Medina's 1 year younger at 30 years of age, he's the older fighter. Been around since he's 14.
Yeah, 510 rounds as a pro for Medina.
You don't judge a fighter's age chronologically. You judge it by the amount of punches he's taken. You can see the definite plan that Toledo has. He's trying to make everything count, be sharp. He knows he can't match Medina in a pure amount of punches. So Toledo's trying to be very specific, trying to place punches like that at the right time, make everything count. And as I said earlier, Toledo's trying not to allow Medina to work by changing range. Toledo trying to make Medina give up his height a little, Bob. Walk Medina into some counters.
Medina able to land the right hand. Good tactical bout for Frankie Toledo and Manuel Medina for Toledo's IBF Featherweight title. And there's the bell to end round number 2. Well, glad you can join us here in Las Vegas. And joining us is Glenn McCrory, former cruiserweight champ. And he is the Teddy Atlas of Sky TV in Europe. Breaks it down. That's a pretty good compliment. All right, give us the Lennox Lewis side of how you see this fight breaking down tomorrow night.
Well, I think it's very difficult for Lennox. We've seen already that, you know, he's under pressure. Now, this guy's got under his skin. Rackman has got to him. He's a little bit scared of him. You know, and that's hard for a fighter to say, but you know what I mean, Teddy. He's got to him a little bit. Lennox has to be very focused, you know, concentrate very hard and go about his business. And one thing he can't be is scared. He's got to go to Rackman, take the fight right to him, and that way he can beat him. If he has that little bit of fear element, he's going to get hit again with that right hand.
See, you know what? I disagree with you. I'll tell you why. I think the fear is good for a guy like Lennox Lewis, because then he'll use his height, which he didn't do the first time.
But Lennox is naturally a careful guy. he's naturally the chess player. So he needs to go out there and be dangerous. He needs to go out there and fight.
I think that he needs to use that 6'6" frame and not let that shorter man get that right hand anywhere near him.
Glenn, thanks very much. The Glenn McCrory of American television against the Teddy Atlas of European television.
Bad headbutt here, guys. Bad headbutt.
And that's exactly what Toledo was concerned about. Now remember, this fight has not gone 4 rounds. It must go 4 rounds. Accidental headbutt. After 4 rounds are complete, they would go to the judges' cards. We're only in round number 3.
The cut is in the forehead area, around the hairline of Toledo. Now that could run into the eyes, but that is not an area where doctors will get overly concerned. Not around the eyes. Not an area that will normally incur more damage.
Right, because it's not like you're going to get the swelling of the eye and the eye closing.
You don't have to worry about permanent damage to the eye when it's up in the forehead area. One thing that headbutt has done, it's changed the strategy of Toledo. He is now pressing the fight, where before he was looking to walk the taller Medina into counters.
Okay, because that cut is not in a dangerous spot, as you mentioned, is Toledo maybe making a mistake by changing his strategy a little bit?
Time will tell. But Toledo is not an aggressive guy. He's a guy that likes to counterpunch, likes to work off your mistakes. So if he's forced because of that cut to come forward, he's coming out of character a little bit. And that could always be a problem. Medina, being his usual persistent self, always looking to move those hands. Again, Toledo now back to the strategy of making everything count. Trying to get the taller Medina, give up his height, walk into counters.
With a little swelling under the left eye of Toledo.
One thing Toledo, as I touched on early, is doing well is when he's not working. He's not allowing Medina to control him with that jab. He's changing range pretty well. Medina follows you pretty well.
The former 3-time featherweight champion, Manuel Medina, taking it to Frankie Toledo here in the 3rd. All right, Teddy, we take a look at the clash of heads right there in round number 3. Caused a cut on the forehead of Toledo.
Both men coming forward. The last round, the last 30 seconds of the 3rd round. Medina took control, and the reason he did, Toledo has a habit of going straight back. That can be very, very dangerous when you do it with a man who, number 1, pursues you, and number 2, has long arms. You think you're out of range, and with Medina, you're not.
Medina threw 50 more punches than Toledo in that 3rd round, and Toledo knew that headbutts could be a problem.
Well, he's been around, for a long time, so he can't change too much. He's not a big puncher. He's a kind of busy fighter, and he leads a lot with his head. That I have to worry about because he comes in with his head a lot. So I would want to take the earlier rounds because I don't know what's going to happen in the later rounds with headbutt over there.
Well, it has happened. Combination there by Toledo.
Right now, the fight has become the kind of fight where Toledo trying to make everything count. Medina having the edge as far as punch output.
Boy, Toledo is complaining to referee Kenny Bayless about Medina leading with his head. Hey, what do you do if you feel that a guy is accidentally or intentionally leading with his head?
Get your head on the side. Keep your gloves in front as a buffer. Make sure your head doesn't go forward.
The only thing I'll say, Teddy, is I don't know if Toledo has lost a little bit of composure, but since that clash of heads and that cut, he's changed his style. He's not using his speed as much. And I think he's a little preoccupied with it. He's not fighting his fight as he fought in the first round.
Medina, as we said early, Bob, very difficult style. Throws a lot of punches, has long arms, and he goes in and out.
Joe Greer, Frankie Toledo Sr., and Nettles Nassar in the corner of Toledo. Handling the cut, it has not been a problem here in the fourth round. As Teddy mentioned earlier, it was on the forehead, not a dangerous spot.
If you lay out in front of Medina, he'll use those long arms, he'll get off. You come forward, he steps back, makes you reach a little bit. Medina's the kind of guy to beat him. It helps if you can punch and hurt him. Toledo can't punch.
A rough fight through four. Very animated corner of Frankie Toledo talking to referee Kenny Ballas in between rounds 4 and 5 about the headbutts. They were saying in our pre-fight meeting, we warned you about that. Ballas said, hey, they're both coming forward. And then the corner of Toledo said to Frankie, you've got to box. You've got to move. Don't trade with this guy.
I mentioned the last round. Medina, a very difficult guy to beat if you don't have power. He's so busy. He's the kind of guy you have to be able to hurt, or it helps if you can hurt him to make him slow down, respectful. One problem with that equation, Toledo does not have power.
Nope. Teddy, in round number 3, Medina threw 50 more punches than Toledo, 104 to 54. Nice combination there by Medina. In round 4, he threw 59 more punches than Toledo, 99 to 40. Teddy Atlas's scorecard through 4 rounds. Teddy has it 2 rounds apiece. I have it 3-1 for Medina, giving him the last 3 rounds.
One stat that is indicative of the fact that it helps if you have power when you fight Medina. He's been knocked out 4 of his 7 losses.
The notables, Derek Smoke Gaynor had Medina down 3 times, knocked him out in 1997. Prince Nassim Ahmed knocked him out in the 11th round. Medina was down in all 3 cards.
Right now, Toledo's losing track of his fight plan because of the difficult style. Medina, he gives it to you 2 ways. Physically, he has those long arms, that long reach, that range. And he's always putting something on you. Gives no rest for the weary with Medina.
Toledo got rocked. I still think, Teddy, in that 3rd round when Toledo saw his own blood, unnecessarily, he went to a different strategy.
Well, right now, he has no strategy, Bob. He's floating. He's in the open sea, and he's just drifting. He is not swimming one way or the other. He is allowing the tide, and the tide is Medina, to carry him.
Toledo getting tagged. Every other punch. Excellent round for Medina. Medina is a former 3-time featherweight champion, twice the IBF Featherweight champion, taking on that man, Frankie Toledo. The doctor taking a look. Now they're stopping it. They've stopped the bout before the start of the 6th round. Because of a cut. Now it's from an accidental foul. If it's stopped because of the cut, it's from an accidental foul, and they would have to go to the judges' scorecards. We were not ringside able to hear that dialogue with one of the ringside physicians in the Toledo corner. The Medina camp is celebrating, but not just yet. If that fight is stopped because of the accidental foul earlier, the headbutt and the cuts on the head, under the unified rules, they would go to the scorecards.
The doctor stopping the fight. I had not seen him work fights before. Not one of the usual faces in the corner with the physicians here in Nevada. In the past, you've seen the experienced doctors in the corner. The experienced fight doctors in the corner here in Nevada. Dr. Goodman, Dr. Hermansky.
All right, let's listen in to the doctor talking with Frankie Toledo in between rounds 5 and 6. Wow, now he says he couldn't see. Now, Teddy, there doesn't appear to be any damage to Toledo's eyes. Now, I can't get inside his head, but there's no real swelling around the eyes.
But he leaves the doctor no choice if indeed he said, no, I can't see.
Let me give you some numbers from round number 5. Medina landed 55 of 105 punches, 43 of 72 power shots. He threw 58 more punches in that round than Toledo did. Toledo only threw 47. And in each of the last 3 rounds, Medina averaged over 50 more punches thrown per round. Now there's confusion on the far side of the ring with Toledo's camp. But based on the tape that we just played you, the doctor asked Toledo if he could see. He said no. He didn't stop it because of the cut. He asked him if he could see, and he said no. In that case, Medina is the winner. Let's listen one more time. The ringside physician. He asked him, can you see? Do you want to fight? He said no. If you say no, it's got nothing to do with the cut. He wasn't even bleeding, so the cut should not be a factor. So
Absolutely.
It should be a TKO win for Medina.
You're absolutely right. If a fighter does not want to continue, the doctor must grant his wish.
Mark Ratner is there, the head of the athletic commission here in the state of Nevada. Let's send it up to our ring announcer, Jake Gutierrez.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout ends at 5 seconds of the 6th round. The winner by TKO and new IBF Featherweight Champion of the World, Manuel Medina.
All right, there's a problem in the ring. Here we go. The camp of Toledo is upset. When they watch the tape, they're going to realize they have no one to blame but themselves. He said no, he did not want to continue. Plain and simple. Medina deservedly won the fight. They're thinking, the Toledo camp, that they should have gone to the judges' scorecards. However, Toledo was not bleeding. You get a look at him. You asked him, do you want to continue? He said no to the doctor. He said no to the doctor. It has been ruled correctly. Based on what the doctor said to Toledo, asked him, do you want to continue? He said no. It is correct. They should not go to the scorecards. It's correct. Medina should win this by way of TKO. Plain and simple. And I think they were trying to massage the rules, Teddy, because they knew their guy was getting beat. Can you see or not? Do you want to fight? He shakes his head no.
And of course, that coming off of the last round and the end of the last round, which was a very dominant round for Medina.
Medina was winning the fight on all three judges' scorecards through 5 rounds, 48-47, 48-47, and 48-47. Manuel Medina is now a 4-time featherweight champion as he stops Toledo at 5 seconds of round number 6.